Have you ever been on the receiving end of a silent treatment? That cold, heavy silence from your spouse or partner that feels less like space and more like emotional punishment? It's painful. It's isolating. And usually our first reaction is to panic, chase, or beg them to talk. But what if that silence wasn't about them? What if it was a universe delivering a direct, urgent message about your own soul's progress? The difficult situation is your 7th house lesson, the house of partnership. And today, we're going to learn how to pass the test. In Vedic Astrology, the 7th house of partnership sits directly opposite the 1st house of self. This is a relationship axis. The fundamental truth of this axis is the 7th house will only reflect the work that you haven't done in the 1st house of self. The silent treatment is the ultimate mirror. Your partner's withdrawal is not a random act of cruelty. It's a direct message telling you exactly where your self-worth is leaking out. We're going to stop chasing the silence and start building a self so strong that their withdrawal cannot touch your peace. So we're going to talk about first the core karmic lesson, which is the 1st house weakness. This is the first video in a series of 7 videos that I'm making on silent treatment. So definitely watch all 7 videos to see which one relates best in your chart. So the core lesson of the 7th house is balance. When your partner withdraws and gives you the silent treatment, it creates an intense imbalance. Now, why does this imbalance hurt so much? It's because most of us unconsciously commit a spiritual error. We give our peace, our completeness, and our self-worth away to the 7th house, our partner, to the other person. We make their affection or their communication the key to our happiness. And what happens when they take that key back by going silent? Our inner world, our entire inner world crashes. Their silence is forcing you to retrieve that energy. If they're quiet, immediately sends you into an emotional panic. That's proof that your 1st house is weak. The panic you feel is a fear of being incomplete, the fear of having your emotional needs unmet. This fear did not originate with your spouse. It was only activated by them. The universe is using your partner to say, you must find your validation within. You must become whole first. The silent treatment is a necessary pressure to build a 1st house that is spiritually sovereign, emotionally independent, and totally validated from the inside out. So let's talk about how do you build your 1st house. Let's talk about a strategy, your inner fortress. How do you build it? That's the most important part, right? Your spiritual assignment is to focus completely and immediately on your 1st house. This is not about passive avoidance. It is about active self-mastery. Let's talk about step 1 on how to do that. Master the art of non-reaction. When the silence hits, your natural instinct is what? To react, to chase, to text, to plead, or to even lash out. These are all 7th house reactions driven by need. A 1st house response is non-reaction. You simply observe the silence without feeling compelled to fix it. This is your first line of defense. When they withhold communication, what do you withhold? Your panic. Your power is restored the moment you choose not to play the game. See how that was? It could take practice. Step 2 is to engage your 1st house discipline. What is that? Your health, your routine. The first house governs the physical body and your sense of vitality. You win the war against the silence by getting incredibly disciplined. Go to the gym, cook a healthy meal, clean your space. These actions anchor you in reality of your body and your immediate environment, your being the key. When you are focused on your own physical well-being, you demonstrate to the universe and to yourself that you are your own primary resource. This is the practical manifestation of self-worth. Let's talk about step 3. You define your non-negotiable boundary. Your first house strategy requires you to define and calmly communicate a boundary, which is the Mars-like expression of the self-respect. Mars originally rules the first house. Use the I statement. For example, I respect your need for space, but I need communication to continue this marriage. If you need silence, I understand. But I will not engage again until I see a clear commitment to talk about the issue at hand. Tell them that. You set the expectation for mature communication without begging for it. Be Mars, action-oriented Mars. You focus on your boundary, not their behavior. Let's talk about the fourth part, the 7th house victory. It's called transformation, not resolution. The real victory is not forcing your partner to talk. You don't want to force them. The real victory is the inner transformation that makes their silence meaningless to your peace. Right? When you successfully use the silence to build your first house, 2 things happen. 1, their silence loses all power. They will continue the silent treatment only until they realize it no longer hurts you. When you're no longer chasing, truly no longer chasing, they lose the control they were leveraging. The karmic lesson for them is what? It's that manipulation does not work. At that time, the relationship level changes. Once you're whole, the dynamic changes forever. You're no longer relating from a position of need, but from a position of choice. You choose to be in the partnership, not need to be in the partnership. This new, stronger self will either elevate the relationship to a more mature level, or it will give you the strength to calmly realize the relationship has run its course, and that is okay. Either result is a 7th house victory. Remember, the goal is not resolution, the goal is self-evolution. The silence is just the tool the universe is using to push you forward. So, what does all this mean? The silent treatment is the most painful delivery of an urgent lesson about your self-worth. Okay? Your relationship pain is directly proportional to your lack of self-reliance. Your spouse's silence is a gift, telling you exactly where your spiritual battery needs recharging. Thank them, silently, for the lesson. Learn the boundary and move on to focus on your own strength. Your peace depends on your discipline. This entire ordeal is your karmic challenge on the relationship axis. Before this life, your soul made a contract to meet this exact test, the test of wholeness. Your partner is not your enemy. They're the agent of your transformation, a soul contract, simply. They have shown up precisely to force you to face the fact that you've been looking to the 7th house for the completeness that only you, your first house, can provide. By using their silence to build your inner fortress, you're completing a major part of your soul journey. You're dissolving the karmic debt of dependency. You become the sovereign individual your soul was always meant to be. And that is a victory that lasts far beyond the life of any marriage. So, here are your assignments. First, I want to know, tell me in the comments, what is the deepest fear or wound the silent treatment triggers in you? And what is the one self-care action you will take today to tend to it? Name the wound and name the action. Second, let's turn this knowledge into action. As I always say, seva, service. Do one good deed of the day today for someone less fortunate. Channel that difficult emotional energy into selfless service. And of course, share this video with as many people as you can who are struggling with difficult relationship dynamics, or even if you think they're not struggling, share it. This message is critical for their soul evolution and yours. The more you share, the more you make your chart better. Knowledge is meant to be shared, and that's what I'm doing for you. If you'd like to connect with us, you can schedule a consultation via the link in the About section. And of course, the standard, I would like you to subscribe, hit the like button if you liked this video. That tells me that you're liking it. And don't forget to press the bell icon so you will get the next video in the series of the silent treatment to see if that works better for your chart. First and seventh house access is truly common for everybody's chart. You have to do that. But then there are other ways that your chart can get impacted, such as Saturn influence on your seventh house, Mars influence on your seventh house, your communication house being impacted, which is the third house, your fifth house getting impacted, your eighth house getting impacted, which is the transformation house, your ninth house getting impacted, which is spouse's third house in your chart. So definitely stay tuned to all these other series and see which one works the best for you. And there's going to be solutions based on that. How do you strengthen your Saturn? How do you strengthen your Mars? How do you strengthen your Mercury? All those things, all the examples will be in those videos. So stay tuned. And again, thank you so much for watching.